What's going on, everybody? Welcome to your daily horoscope for January 18th, 2021. Brian here, Fixed Air Moon, keeping the collective fixed on astrology. Well, I'm still on YouTube. Got to get the message out, and I got all the blocks in the world finding me out of nowhere. So, such is life kind of sums up the astrology. So maybe you guys all have little things that are kind of stopping you or slowing down. It's just kind of slow energy, especially with all the void off course moon stuff we had this weekend. Moon in Pisces could be sensitive. I think it's kind of, we're all having our patience tested in one sense or another with all the Saturn squares that have been going on. Saturn's about to square Uranus. So there's just I think a lot of slower energy, and Mars in Taurus is slower too. So I think we just got to keep on keeping on however we can. But I would say that today is a day where the energy kind of shifts in more of a positive, more gives us some more oomph with that moon in Aries. So when the moon comes into fire signs now, that's like the only fire that we're going to get for a while. Fire is not in the chart. So I think we should embrace it throughout this winter, really. As we finish up winter here until we come into kind of Aries season, really. So, moon's on Chiron. I think we got to kind of emotionally let things go. We got to emotionally see how far we've come. I think in a sense we've all come so far, and even if things are pushing us back or slowing down, we don't want to get discouraged. We don't want to fall back into any sort of self-doubt, anything like that. I think that we need to empower ourselves. We need to use this energy to really move forward. That moon's going to be making really nice aspects to Jupiter and Saturn in Aquarius. So I think we need to push forward with the bigger ideals, the bigger innovations. And even if they're taking a long time, or they're taking, if they're moving slower, I think that things can speed up today, and we can have some drive to go get them. And maybe some courage to go get them. That moon is going to finish off the day with a square to Venus. So, there might be some things that have to get off our chest when it comes to other people in our life, when it comes to relationships. Maybe we have to really maybe be responsible for a conversation. And I think conversations are a big deal, especially with Mercury getting ready to trine over to the North Node. And the dispositor for the North Node is Mercury. So this is a nice aspect. I think we need to open up. We need to express where we want to go, express maybe the direction we're moving in. But I think another key to that is the sun on Chariklo. It's going to come to 29 degrees today and make that conjunction, which is Chiron's wife, which is really unconditional love without judgment for other people. So I think it's that love without judgment for ourselves, for other people, that is so important as we finish up this Capricorn season before that sun moves into detriment of Aquarius and makes some really hard squares there and comes over Saturn. So we're just kind of getting ready, and I think the more non-judgmental we can be and the more love behind it when it comes to what we want to accomplish, when it comes to where we're going, I think that that's very important, and that can be very helpful. And I think that if that's the motive behind any conversations when it comes to relationships, that whatever the message is or whatever needs to come out, it'll come out in not so much of a attacking way. And that moon in Aquarius, square Venus, could want to kind of rah, rah, rah. And that's the hardest aspect today when it comes to the moon. Otherwise, it's making really nice aspects. So if we have conversations with the people we love, if, be it relationship, friendship, whatever it might be, family, maybe we just need to kind of express ourselves with unconditional love, let our truth out there. If it needs to come out, it needs to come out, but, have that love behind it. And I think that's very important. And Mercury's also in sextile to Hermes and the South Node, coming up on the South Node. So I think we need to be very hermetic. We need to definitely look at all things. That's where I think the non-judgmental part of today comes into play too. So there is this sort of non-judgmental aspect to really objectify, to look at both sides of things, to not just and not get down. I think if things are slow for whatever reason, and they might start speeding up today. Today could be more of a fast-paced energy. And there could be a lot going on, especially with Jupiter exactly squaring Uranus still today at 6 degrees. What's interesting about Jupiter on this third quarter square to Uranus is the last time it happened was when Jupiter was in Sagittarius. Uranus was in Pisces in 2007, and it was October 9th, and that day was the day that the stock market had the biggest hit. And it was because of the housing market. The banks were really just doing shady stuff. And if you watch the movie The Big Short, it showed how all that got exposed, and it caught a lot of people off guard. So people believed that like the housing market was booming, the markets were booming, but really there was shady stuff going on behind the scenes, and it crashed it. And that kind of shattered people. So that's kind of wild. And then the last time that we saw Jupiter in Aquarius with a 3/4 square to Uranus in Taurus was in 1938. And that was, when Hitler was really like taking more power in Germany, and he kind of had already started like concentration camps, but it was kind of behind the scenes. Nobody really saw it. Well, this square kind of like, again, took that camouflage off, and the world kind of became more clear on what was going on in Nazi Germany. And of course, war came after that, and that was a terrible time, right? So it was good that the camouflage came off, but it wasn't till years later that there was a resolution for what it was going through. So that's another thing with the energies that we're seeing right now. They might not just play out right away. They could. We're in such uncertain times. Anything could pop off at any moment, especially with Inauguration Day on the 20th. A lot going on. So things can happen, but I think the theme is camouflage is going to be lifted somewhere. And we do have to be hermetic. We do have to look at all aspects of it before we just jump in and maybe have our beliefs shattered, or we don't want to see other people, get into a bad place either. So we have that going on. The Mars is 1 degree away from Uranus. So that's rebellion energy. That's that's pure rebellion energy at its finest. So we'll see what happens. We're in this time, and of course on Inauguration Day, that's going to be exact on the 20th. So I think we could see some radical things take place, and I think people are going to, take radical action for their beliefs. So we'll see what happens. Saturn's in the mix there too. But I think today's a beautiful day, and I think that the theme is really coming into this week is that sun on Chariklo, and how we can be non-judgmental about whatever comes and be hermetic. Look at things from all angles. Focus on our environment. Make sure that we're being hermetic in a way that we're taking care of what's going on around us, having the conversations with the people we love, with love behind those conversations. But not judging, ourselves, not judging others. I think we want to move past that. How can we better ourselves, better our environment without hate, without bringing people down? Let the world play out. I think it's a wild week of astrology, I'll be honest. Like anything can happen at any moment. So we'll see what happens. But I would say personal lives, it's a good day to go after it. Let's see what the card says. Oh, the star card reversed. I'm a big fan of the star card. And reversed, I think it's kind of like we're kind of experiencing, and I think for the weekend when we got like the tower card, this card comes after the tower, of course. I just think we're in this place where there's just maybe just even in personal lives, we're feeling a lot of change taking place. And I think we really need to tap in to our guides, tap into the stars, and really look at things from a different perspective. Maybe not think that we know it all. Maybe we're fresh on a new journey here, and we don't want to be scared of the journey, but maybe we just have to kind of go into it almost feeling naked, almost feeling like new. But I think we need to understand that we have like our guides have our back. The angelic realm has our back. Like there's definitely benevolent energy around. And especially in the craziest of times, like you can look at old paintings, there's always angels in like these war paintings and stuff. And I think that the more we can understand that, even if things do get weird, which it just feels like things are going to get weird, that there's a light. And I think we need to be vulnerable to the light and not block it by, being in a place of not love. So I think the more love we can feel, the more vulnerable and, kind of tapped in we can be to what's going on and to our own intuition. I think the more we'll be guided towards this new direction that life's trying to take us on. And, I don't think it's going to look like we thought it was. I think there's change going on, and we're just not going to know. So I think we still need to take action for the things that we want to build. I think today's a great day for like getting the things done that you want to get done. So use that energy. I think that we finally get some fire, we get some drive, some passion. We've been kind of stuck a little bit lately. So let's try and get out of that stuck vibe. I think push forward with some goals, push forward with things that need to get taken care of. And it could end up being a conversation with, someone important in your life later on. Or maybe even a conversation with yourself about what you really value and what your goals are. And, emotionally understanding where to go. And maybe trusting what your intuition's telling you and not fighting it. So we'll see. It's a radical times. It's a big week in the astrology. We'll see where it takes us. I love you all very much. I will catch you tomorrow. Peace.